that is parent component. And I'm adding another component, some child. So ng generate component child and skip test true. So we added the parent and child components here. Fine. After this, let's keep the parent component in the startup. So we will keep the parent component in the startup. Parent component. Okay. That is the parent component. App parent. That is the, yeah. That is the component that we are rendering in index page. And it is starting with parent component. So let's go to the parent component design. And in the parent component HTML, I'm adding just a simple. So div and the class as some container fluid. Yeah. And here I'm defining a heading parent component. Okay. And let's keep the style. So background color and suppose so light cyan. Okay, something background color is defined. And we have this border 2 pixel solid, so dark cyan. Okay. This is the parent component. We are having a parent component here. Now in this parent component, so just let's keep this fluid container. Okay. Now in this parent component, I want to access the child component. That's very simple. So let's go to child component. Child component, I'm designing again a div and heading child component. And here I'm defining style, some background color, some yellow. All right. And the border as 2 pixel dotted and some red like this. You can see now that is the child component. I want this child component to be accessed inside parent component. So for parent component, I will keep here some padding as 20 pixel. Okay. Now I want to access that. Only parent component is available. I want to access the child component inside it. It's very simple. I need to just access this child component in parent by using child selector. That means child selector is app child. You have to just configure that app child. Then you can see the child component will be rendered inside it. You can see the child component is inside. So later we will access that by using routing technique. Generally we will use routing concept. In routing, usually what happens is, technically in routing, user will click on any particular link or select where he wants to, which one he wants to access. On click of the link, we can bring that component and show it. So that means only when they are necessary, they will come and display. For that, we need to use a simple hierarchy. So we need to design a routing concept for application so that it will be easy for us. That we will see later how we can configure the routes and define the routes. Next important part here is, up to this everything fine. Now the point is how we can transport data from one component to another component. So that is the key part we need to understand. How we can transport data from one component to another component. For example, we have parent component. In the parent component, we have some data which we need to pass to child component. That means in parent component .ts, parent component .ts. In this parent component .ts, I am declaring a simple variable, means a property, public message, MSG. So parent message is equal to. So here I will just put hello from parent component. This is just hello from parent. Later we will design a proper example. First we are understanding syntactically. So hello from parent, we are configuring hello from parent. Okay, this should be displayed. This should be displayed inside child component. That should be displayed inside child component. So that means we need to display that inside child component. In the child component HTML, obviously you cannot access here in a paragraph. You cannot access parent message here. Am I right? You cannot access that parent message in the child component and show it. This is inside this class. You cannot access in another component HTML here. Another component HTML here. So we cannot directly do that. We cannot directly do that. It's not possible. So then what we need to do is, how you will manage this is, actually, in order to manage transporting of data. So in parent component, we have a property, parent message. So the parent message some hello. Now in the child component, I want to show that message. Usually in parent HTML, we can display that message. In the parent HTML, we can display the message. In child component, we need to display the message. So in that case, there should be some property inside the child component. There should be some property. So that means which should accept that parent data coming from parent, it should accept the data, right? So observe carefully here. In the parent, this is TS file, and we have parent HTML file. In the parent HTML file, usually when you are dealing with this parent HTML here, in the parent HTML, we are using app child. Now, this message should be sent into this parent app child. So that means in app child, there must be one property which can accept your message. So that means we are declaring a property called public. We are declaring a property called MSG. And this property, we have child.html. Child.html. In child